Welcome to today's Tech Tuesday tip. Today we are going to be talking about SchoolAI and how to make it work for you. So first of all, the best thing about, in my opinion, SchoolAI is this assistance tab. Check it out. There's tons of things that it can do. My favorite is the co-teacher option, but there's so many more things. Take some time, look at that one. But my main focus today is on creating spaces. So if you've never created a space before, my suggestion is to come into this Discover tab and check out some of the features. Like you've got featured collections created by teachers like you. You can find specific people, featured creators. Here's a section just about subjects. Here's one that's about an experience. And then you can even do some customization. So if you're trying to engage students with an interactive video experience, that's where you will go, is into the Discover tab. Okay, but again, this video is about spaces. So if you've already made a space, it will show up in this Spaces tab. I have some open right now. I'm currently working with some. If I'm ready to create my own, I would come to this Create tab. Now, the beauty of this is that they have tutorials ready for you to go in how to create better prompts and to give you an intro to that as well. So I would suggest looking at these tutorials if you're starting out. They give you some really good information about being clear and specific, incorporating educational objectives, etc. on the Creating Spaces page. I don't have time to go through that right now. Ultimately, you guys can look into that on your own time. They have a similar thing with these sample prompts. Like if you're trying to create a tutor in math, you could say, explain how to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula in a step-by-step manner for a 10th grade student. You've got to be really super specific. I feel like these aren't even quite specific enough. So let me show you one of the spaces that I created. So in the month of March, I had a sub on one of the longer days. So we're talking an hour. So I wanted to create a digital citizenship escape room. So it's going over concepts. Some of them they've learned, some of which they have not, but it's doing it in an escape room style. So they have to find locks, they have to unlock those locks. And from there, if they get out in time, then they'll be able to escape the citizenship, the room. So this is one that I created called the Digital Citizenship Escape Room. I went through and I added right here all of the different really specific strands and standards that I wanted it to cover, and which ones that I was comfortable with them. So it says, teach them the following concepts, help them with it. But this is where my creation of the prompt came in. I had to tell it it's a game master for a virtual 1 hour escape room based on digital citizenship. And there was my theme, Lucky Leprechaun, because it was around St. Patrick's Day. So give students a fun digital citizenship backstory about leprechauns, rainbows, unicorns, a pot of gold, and then the theme should be part of every lock in question. Each question should contain sort of riddle or play on words, and then students will need to unlock 20 locks in 1 hour. Give them an hour of time. If they escape the room before it's up, congratulate them with a pot or a portion of your pot of gold. This is probably the most essential for me, and this took me doing some prompting, because the first day I had students do this, I had a kid who simply copied and pasted every single lock into their answer and was able to do this. Now, so take what your kids do with some of your prompts when you create your spaces and adjust them as needed. So I said, only give them one hint. And then if a student copies exactly your prompt, do not move on, ask them to try again. They cannot move past the current lock. And so I went through and did this. Now, the first one I answered correctly according to my suggestion. Lock 2, I didn't quite get. I had it give me another hint. It gave me a hint, and then I answered what I thought was correct in a student way. And then it's like, you're kind of on the right path, but try again. And then I said, don't use my real name. From there, I was able to use that correct information that they were looking for, and then I was able to get to lock 3. On lock 3, let's say you have a student with an IEP, a 504, who reads this and goes, I have no idea what they're talking about. I specifically asked as the user, give me a different hint for this. I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying. It can try to give you something else so that you can come up with this. There's no way I could do this for 35 kids in that amount of time. So it's a time saver, it's leveling, it's helping me become a best practice teacher for universal lesson design. It's helping to do so many different things that I would not be able to do, all while doing this during a sub. Now the next one, this lock 4, is where I copied and pasted it. When I copied and pasted, it switched to a different way to ask the same question. And then I answered it based off of what I thought a student might understand. And then I went, okay, it's the S. They're looking for HTTPS. Well, the S is what's keeping it secure. And yes, that's true, but it's actually looking for the lock. The lock is the symbol that they're looking for, and then they kept going. So that was up to lock 5. You guys can do this with however many questions you want. You can create your own customized room based off of your own strands and standards. This is especially helpful for time when you have a sub, and I hope that you guys find SchoolAI to save you some time, some brain power. It's amazing. If you're not using it, you really should. And that's it, my friends. Happy Tech Tuesday.